3-hour news show, you are still watching our signature segment, See the Stories. Now today we have a very special guest, someone who takes waste and turns it into a work of art in an effort to save the environment while also inspiring others to do exactly that. The founder of Plastik Kembali, Elissa Gjertson. Elissa, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited to talk more with you as well. So can you tell us what the background is? Like, where did you get the inspiration? And how did it come to be that you founded Plastik Kembali?
Sure. So I'm originally from the US, from Minnesota. Both my parents are artists and makers, so I grew up surrounded by art and creativity. University, I studied writing, design, communications, as well as women's studies. So I was always interested in how art and communication and design could be a bridge to social change, how art can really inspire people. At the same time, I was always interested in indigenous art, in global art, in how different cultures use art as communication about their beliefs, about their traditions, weaving textile painting around the world. So about 5 years ago, my husband Daniel and I had the opportunity to visit Indonesia. So it was a perfect opportunity to explore this passion. So we did a lot of traveling. We visited Surabaya, Jogja, Kalimantan, Raja Ampat, Bali. But when we came to Lombok, it changed our life. We thought it was the most beautiful island we had ever seen, the most beautiful beach we'd ever seen in Selang Belanak, where we live now. And so we thought, what if we could make this our next chapter in our lives? And so we moved to Selang Belanak, Lombok, in the south of Lombok, and immediately we got involved with the local community association, the SBCA, Selang Belanak Community Association. And this is a group of locals and expats who come together to work on waste infrastructure. And we were doing beach cleanups and village cleanups, educational programs. And this was really the inspiration of how could we use plastic waste as an artistic medium. So that's when I started to do some research and start experimenting with making things from plastic. I started looking at videos online. I learned about a group called Precious Plastic, which is a global community of makers. Watched every tutorial. And then I went to our local pasar Sunday morning and I put a sign-up sheet on the table and said, who wants to learn how to make art from recycled plastic? And we had about 10 people sign up, and the core of those folks are still with us today, 2.5 years later. And this process has just been one of learning and growing together, and now expanding into large scale art installations that are in exhibits around Indonesia.
That's great. I've seen some of your art on your Instagram profile. It's Plastik Kembali. That's correct. That's correct. And I've seen that. So you've made different kinds of sculptures as well as hanging display. What other things do you do? Like, what other things do you create?
Sure. So we have many techniques that we've developed over the years. We first started with plastic, with melting plastic, and we use recycled polypropylene, plastic number 5. And that we started making bowls, and now we're really making different sculptural pieces. My team and I are trying to paint with this type of plastic as we melt it in the oven. Then we work with a type of rope. So we created in 2019 a recycled tali, and that I brought to the team as an inspiration from American quilting technique, a way to use scrap fabric. But I thought, I bet we could make that with plastic. So we made some prototypes, and we hand twist our recycled rope from recycled plastic, scrap fabric, natural fibers. So from the tali, we make, you can see a weaving behind me, we make different artworks, very colorful, some three-dimensional wall sculptures, some really innovative techniques that we're exploring. We work with local Lombok weavers, and we make a recycled textile. So now my lead maker and I are working on, we call textile paintings. So we create designs and we work directly with the weavers who are using traditional backstrap looms, but using recycled plastic in the designs. We also have a group of about 10 rattan weavers where we work together to combine traditional rattan weaving with recycled plastic, either wrapping the rattan or attaching melted hard plastic with rattan into innovative sculpture. We also do a technique where we're ironing plastic bags and we're making paintings or multimedia artworks from the ironed plastic. So we have many, many techniques that we continue trying to explore and develop every day.
Those are some very interesting techniques indeed. How were you able to come into contact with these people? Did you, the people who you collaborate with regards to, the techniques and the weavers and things and the people like that? How were you guys able to collaborate with one another?
Sure. So we originally, after I had the core group come together here in Lombok, we would just travel around the island. And I mean, this was, when we first started to explore Lombok, I would try to go to, all the small shops and small workshops and small studios and people's homes of what are you making and how are you making it? So I really tried to learn as much as I could about traditional Indonesian crafts. So it was really a trial and error of going out and introducing ourselves and saying, okay, we have this idea. I want to do a weaving, but I want to wrap it with plastic. Do you want to try? And then some people said, no, thank you. I don't know, that's too difficult. And then others would say, okay, coba. And so coba really became our philosophy. Is like, okay, coba. Every day we would just continue meeting new artisans or seeking out different techniques, and I would explain the idea and okay, ibu coba. So that's really our philosophy here at Plastik Kembali is coba.
Okay. So I remember you mentioned earlier that you had some kind of educational programs and you were also seeking to raise awareness of, plastic waste and more specifically, I guess, plastic waste management in Lombok and perhaps hopefully in the future in Indonesia in general, because obviously, it's a very important topic and it's a very important issue that needs to be, that needs to be overcome, if you will.
Yeah.
How do you hope that how do you hope that your art will inspire those and kind of educate people in Indonesia and around the world, hopefully as well, to overcome this issue?
Sure, great question. So our mission here, we say we transform one of Indonesians' biggest challenges, plastic waste, through one of Indonesia's greatest strengths, traditional art and craft. So I want to use the very culture of Indonesia, the very skill of the amazing artisans and craftspeople as the solution, as one solution, to battle the plastic crisis. We're working with our local team. We're doing artistic development workshops, color theory workshops. We're watching these artisans blossom into, amazing, mostly women, amazing artists here over these past couple years. That inspiration, starts within our team, but it goes back to coba, right? We have this artistic philosophy or a philosophy on life, on how to make the world better. And we say it like this: COBA, curiosity, openness, bravery, adaptability. And it's these traits that we try to really explore as a team, and we try to help people explore within themselves to find their creativity within. And it may be creativity in making art, it may be creativity in mechanical engineering, it may be creativity in farming and gardening, and right? There's so many ways that we can be creative as a society to help solve this problem. So we really want to approach this from a space of art, of inspiration, and of creating emotion in people that can really help create a social movement where we can all work together. We can all coba. Yeah.
And I have heard as well that you're doing, I think you mentioned earlier that you were doing your own kind of action, obviously by sourcing some of your plastic waste that you use for your artwork by going straight to the beaches, places that are, that where plastic waste is definitely more visible. So how often do you do that? And maybe how do you say it? How big of an impact have you guys had?
Yeah, true. So like we have, so I have my latest stats I got from my team. So starting with impact, because numbers are always fun, that in the 4 years that we've been together, we've made approximately 750 kilometers of our recycled road. So that is an equivalent of about 350,400 plastic bags. We're using recycled polypropylene, sometimes recycled bags, sometimes recycled material. We're sourcing from different recycling companies around Indonesia. From polypropylene pellets, we've recycled about 4 tons of recycled polypropylene pellets. So for us, in some cases, we're collecting the plastic bags mostly. That's what we take because it's not recyclable. And so we're wanting to take things that don't have value. Yeah. So there's a lot of plastic that has value, and the trash banks, the bank sampahs, these are very important groups across Indonesia. So for an example, if I use my own community association, so we're on the board on the SPCA, and we are building, we call it a waste transfer station. Yeah. So a portion of our profits from Plastik Kembali go to help fund this, our community waste infrastructure initiative. What we're doing, we put bins around the village, on the beaches, and this is all in process. Yeah, it's every day we're learning more and learning more. In those bins, we're collecting rubbish that gets taken to our waste transfer station. Whatever is recyclable, anything that has value, PET bottles, the bottle top, water glasses, straws, yogurt containers, cleaning solution bottles, all of that stuff is very valuable plastic. That can get to the trash banks, and the trash banks can sell to Java. The main recycling centers are on the island of Java. We don't yet have those proper recycling centers here in Lombok. Some are being developed. We're very excited about that. But right now, everything is going to Java. And then we look at this inter-island supply chain, is how we call it, yeah? This is not a perfect solution, but it's what we have right now, and it's working. But it needs improvement, right? So this is an ongoing thing. That's collection. So yes, beach cleanups, village cleanups, all of those types of things are happening in our community, fundraising, all the types of things to create this infrastructure to help get what can be recycled to be recycled. Then we're starting a new coalition, and this is a new program that we're working on the website as we speak, is a program called Start to Stop. And this is where now I'm starting to seek out corporate partners, really for a think tank on ways that we can start the conversation to stop the plastic. Because the reality is there is so much plastic being made, we can never have enough beach cleanups or village cleanups to handle it all. We cannot recycle our way out of this problem. The latest statistic is only 7 to 9% of plastic that is actually recycled is being recycled. So of all the plastic that can be recycled, only about 7 to 9% is actually being recycled. So of course we have to keep trying and recycle as much as we can of what's here, but there's a metaphor in the plastic community of if you have your bathtub, the faucet running on your bathtub, and your bathtub is overflowing, you don't go and grab a mop, you turn off the faucet, yeah? This is what has to happen with the plastics industry. We have to look to corporations to start the conversation, to stop the production of plastic and look for alternative solutions. So this is what we're really excited about doing. Yes, supporting cleanups. Of course, we want to do whatever we can to make our environment as clean and rid of the plastic that already exists. But what I'm really motivated by is looking to the future and finding those brave corporate leaders that want to step into that conversation and figure out how can we find alternatives, because until we stop making the plastic, we will never catch up. We will never recycle our way out of the problem.
You're definitely right that it's not just how do you say? It's impossible for us for a small organization to make such a big change, to make such a big impact, because it's a systemic issue, really, isn't it? That needs
Yeah, perfectly said.
from the top down, right?
Yeah, perfectly said. And that's where, as I say, we started this a couple corporations interested in talking to me. So I can't name them quite yet, but hopefully soon we'll be able to talk about this and maybe have another meeting in the future about how we can change this together.
I'm looking forward to hearing all about it. And that really brings me on to my perhaps second to last question is, what are the long-term goals and visions of your organization, Plastik Kembali? Do you hope to expand to other islands such as Bali as well, or are there any other plans?
Great. So something really exciting has happened for us in the past couple months. We are now represented by one of my favorite galleries in the entire world, located in Seminyak, Bali. The art gallery focused on Indonesian artists. And so this has really opened the door to the international world for all of our art pieces. So our artisans were all so proud to start to see our pieces in large hotels. We just did put up some pieces at Four Seasons Jimbaran Bay. We have a 7-meter long sculpture at W Bali Seminyak. Upcoming, we have an art gallery, an art show in Yogyakarta. We have an upcoming show at John Hardy Boutique and Gallery in Bali. So this momentum of people really showing interest in a new material to express art, this has been just thrilling for our entire team. So as far as our long-term goal, it's really to get into more places. We love to work with hospitality groups, especially across Indonesia, because we can help educate tourists about the waste problem and how they can help and they can take new ideas home to their own countries. But we're also really excited to get out into the international art community. My biggest goal, my biggest dream would be to be Art Basel. I mean, that would be like a dream come true, unbelievable, to have all of our artisans be on a global stage like that. In the meantime, we'll just keep working and keep making and keep being creative. But that's really our goal, is to bring our small and large scale art pieces to the world, and to inspire others. And that's to add one more note to a part of your question, is inspiring others. That's what we always want to do. Yeah. We have many people who come and say, "Oh, I want to learn how to make art like you." And I say, no, don't make my art. I want to show you how to make your own art, how to inspire you to find what inspires you, what makes you get up in the morning. What are you passionate about? Make your art. Yeah. So that's always, part of that biggest goal is not to expand locations or, but it's to keep working as our small team, make the best art pieces that we can, continue evolving our techniques, but then offer, inspiration and ideas and resources for people to find their own passion and find their own artistic expression on how to make the world a better place.
Very beautiful message, Elissa. One more question. I think people who are watching now might be curious on where they can see any arts that you've created. Where can people go to look at that?
So you can see things in process at our studio here in Selang Belanak, Lombok. We have art pieces permanently on display at the Lombok International Airport in the International Arrivals Hall. We have artwork currently on display at the W Bali Seminyak. 2 very large sculptures, a really cool way to see recycled plastic come to life. We have pieces at Four Seasons Jimbaran Bay in their lobby, as well as in their new craft cocktail bar called Telu. We have upcoming art exhibits in Yogyakarta at Omo Budoyo Gallery. That opens on July 14th. July 22nd, we open a show at John Hardy in Seminyak, Bali. And then we have some things slated, hopefully a couple more hospitality groups we're in conversations with right now, a couple hotels in Bali, as well as one in Java, in Jakarta. So things are evolving all the time. Best thing is to follow us on Instagram at Plastik Kembali, and there we always put our most recent art exhibits or shows or partnerships for others to see, as well as just other things that we're working on and exploring and developing.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to seeing anything that you guys are going to be working on in the near future and in the far future as well. Elissa, thank you so much for the interview and best of luck with your movement, with your projects. And I hope you continue to inspire people in the future. Thank you.